Mercury retrograde is a time for slowing down, reviewing, rethinking, and replanning. It's a time of being patient, taking your time, looking at the area of your life that Mercury retrograde is traveling through, and making sure you don't miss anything, any messages, or any guidance. And as one of my favorite astrologers, Shani Nicholas, says, Mercury retrograde can cause delays and disarray, but with a purpose. Mercury retrograde is asking us to pump the brakes and check our rearview mirrors before hitting the gas. Are you sure this is the route that you should take? Maybe you should go back and look it over or review it before moving forward. This is not the time to move fast or rush things, and if you try to, well, Mercury retrograde will do what it does best and slow you down. It's annoying, especially if you are a fire sign or have any fire in your chart, being that fire placements are much more comfortable in a faster pace flow, but you'll be happy you took a pause, a rewind, and retraced your steps once it's over, whether that was by choice or involuntary delays and disarray. And then once it's over, you should have better clarity and insight on the themes of the house or houses Mercury retrograde was transiting through. So now, the good stuff. How did it affect me personally? How can we apply it to real life scenarios? So I started Mercury retrograde thinking I had a plan, thinking I had everything figured out, foot on the gas, unable to even fathom why I would need to put my foot on the brakes for a Mercury retrograde. I had everything figured out. I had my plan for the new year. And then Mercury retrograde came in and said, are you sure that's the route you want to go? Actually, F your plans altogether. You are still trying to play it safe. You are still holding on. You need to let go. You need to take that risk. You need to trust your intuition and clear the path of things that no longer serve you, because you are not taking those things into 2024. I will show you. And then threw my 2024 plans up in the air. Rude. I guess I wasn't listening to my inner guidance. I needed to connect to my intuition and listen to that inner voice telling me to take the risk that I've known I should have since the beginning of this year. And then I needed to stick to it, no matter what. And so during Mercury retrograde, I was guided to learn more and to develop a better understanding of what intuition was and how to connect to it, which then brought me to the realization that this is what I was missing the whole time. And 2024 was going to be the year of me building a relationship and trusting my intuition to lead the way. Then randomly one day, I remembered that I had purchased an astrology workshop package from my favorite astrologer, Shani Nicholas, about a month ago that I never finished because, life. But I remembered that in the workshop, there was a section that taught you how to see your gifts that you were born with in this lifetime and how to turn those gifts into avenues of support, aka money, honey. Which has been the question I have been asking myself for all of my 20s. How can I make money doing what I love that will afford the life of my dreams? So then I can show others how to do the same. Highly, highly, highly recommend that course. It was the most insightful astrology I have ever learned. And after I finished that course, I knew exactly what I had to do. I needed to finally let go of my old career path for good and start something new, something that aligned more with the current journey I was on. I spent this year with one foot in and one foot out because I was scared of closing that chapter of my life because of all the success I gained from it and maybe how comfortable it felt. But for the longest, I could tell it was no longer resonating or serving me like it used to. And it was time to move on, no matter how scary that seemed. And although I have been receiving signs all year, that workshop, that final review, Mercury retrograde vocabulary, was the clarity and the push I needed. I spent the rest of Mercury retrograde planning out my new career path and got so much more insight on the way. And then on December 22nd, I created Daily Astrology and Spirituality. And on December 30th, the day Jupiter stationed direct, after finishing up a deep dive on Jupiter and Taurus and how it played out in my chart, video on that coming soon, I checked my phone to see the time and it said 444. So of course, I looked it up and I saw that 444 stands for clarity and decisiveness. And then on January 1st, Mercury stationed retrograde, and to my surprise, I ended Mercury retrograde with way more clarity, insight, and a better plan than I started with. Now I can hit the gas. Oh, and if you haven't guessed it already, Mercury retrograde was transiting through my 11th house of dreams, community, networks, and my 10th house of career and public life. Interesting, right?